Oh, let's see.
I have Brahms and Leonore again, so.
Okay, that's fine. And it's Aimee,
Yes.
right? Okay, good. Okay, which one do you want to play first?
I don't mind either way.
It's up to you.
I'll start with Brahms.
Okay. Yeah, play.
Sorry.
No,
Before I hit the
no,
double.
You've been sitting there freezing for an hour. Bravo, bravo. Gosh, I think that is so pretty. And there's such a beautiful delicacy to that.
Thank you.
So it's very interesting. We're hearing these players this is really, really good, really fantastic. And so we kind of get to hear everything. I kind of wish you could take a page learn from him about size of sound. You need more size of sound.
Okay.
And I wish he could take a page from you in terms of having that focus and sweetness of the tone.
Okay.
So I want to combine you two. Come up with but you're both absolutely fantastic, and you're just a beautiful player. And I think with your approach and with that sound, I think you're capable of just such tremendous delicacy and subtlety in your playing, which is an amazing thing to have. It's a great gift. And I just think in terms of having an orchestral style sound, at least for the States, you could look for sort of more bass in your sound. The size of the sound, I feel, needs a little bit of development. And that is a rather complex issue. You don't want to lose the focus and pitch definition that you have, and that very sweet sort of vowel that you get. You don't want to lose that. It's very attractive. Maybe you could work with a little bit lower jaw position, just more slack with the jaw altogether. Now, when I say slack, I'm not talking about like pulling your jaw in different directions and making your jaw into another position or something, because you're only going to hurt yourself. The jaw does not like to be messed with, okay? All you can do is release all the stuff around it. So the cheek muscles, the muscles in the joint back here, if they're too tight, if you're holding onto the sound from back here, you need to maybe figure out a way to just let go of that. That will probably increase maybe the sort of the chamber at the top of the throat, back of the mouth. We want that chamber to be relaxed natural and open, not impeded or anything. Sometimes the tongue position is weird back there. For various reasons, we try to direct the air with the back of the tongue by raising it. If you're doing that, you need to figure out a way to release, to let go. That's usually related to the jaw, though, as well. The tongue is doing that because of the tense jaw kind of thing. So you kind of have a little bit of chicken and the egg with that sometimes. And these are complex issues that teachers don't like to talk about too much. But those are ways to increase the size of the sound. Not so sure, and I know I'm sorry to be laying into you about this, and I don't mean to for it to sound that way. I'm just saying that in terms of tone development, that is the direction that I think that you need to go. It's fairly clear.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You feel also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean that's good. Also, jaw position. I don't want to stay on it forever. It's a very fundamental thing, though, that I have found that posture and jaw position are closely related. So one thing we do, especially when we try to focus the tone or play soft, is we have a little bit of this kind of thing going on. So this is kind of very forward, like this, but unfortunately other things are forward too. So she's a little forward here with the pelvis, and she's a little forward here. So you're a little too curved, like from the side, a little bit like a backward C, if you would. And you have a little bit of that going on, and that is enough to keep your jaw from slackening. If you go forward from here, you'll notice you cannot slacken your jaw. You have to have your head balanced on top of your spine in order for everything to relax enough for your jaw to just sort of drop down and let go. And the more I think about it, the more I think that that is sort of the saboteur in the soup with the jaw, is that it's a head position thing. Right. Make sure you're open back here when you play at the top base of your skull and back, right here. That this is open. Tuck your chin in a tiny bit. Yes. Oh, like that. Right. That move. Right. And that's very subtle. Mm-hmm. A little bit like a bird, you know. This kind of thing. Okay. Just a little bit. Don't do it too much. Don't overdo it, or you're going to close your throat. But that will help you with the size of your sound. It also generally makes it easier for her to blow down, which is another ingredient of having that sort of dark, richness to the sound, is having the general angle of the air a little bit oriented so it falls down into the flute a little more rapidly as you're blowing, you know. All right, so that's the way I see it in terms of your tone development. Go experiment with her, speak to your teacher about it or whatever. But in my experience, that's what I think. And so she's actually playing the solo from this book, which is in this my Exploring Sound series, and this is something I toyed with my whole career, which is the first time I sat in orchestra, I heard the horn player play this melody that I thought was just so cool, and I thought, well, why can't I play it? You know, well, it's because I don't have it written down anywhere, and I can't transpose well enough from the score. So I'd go home and I'd get the score, and wow, I really want to play the horn solo, and then I try to transpose it and turn the pages and everything. So I finally started, you know, just with just a piece of manuscript paper, just transposing them and writing them down, so I could go home and play the other person's solo, you know. it's just something I fooled around with my whole career, and I realized, wow, I mean, some of the solos for the other instruments are so challenging on flute. And then I'd get to some of the flute passages and I'd think, oh, that's so easy now, you know, or something like that. Or if you just want to get to know the piece, it's a great way to get to know the piece. So you can play all the violin melodies and all the other solos from the other instruments in every key, transposed in every key, in this book and in the other books in the series. So if you like that thing too, then make sure you check those out. Because I finally decided to just start writing it all out for flute players. I think it's kind of what Moise wanted to do, is some of that with tone development, with his book. It's just that opera stuff was very popular at that time, so he was writing down opera aria melodies for flute players to play. You know, but I really do think it's an incredibly creative and fun, super fun way to develop your tone. It's good to go back to De La Sonorité and the chromatic scales. That's good. Don't abandon that. It's very good, careful work. But make sure you apply what you learn there to a lot of different kinds of melodies. I'm always inquisitive about how to play melodies. What's it like this way? What's it like this way? I'm just fascinated by all that kind of thing. But it increases your perspective on everything you play. So I highly recommend that. And sometimes playing the things in the other keys, sometimes you play it in an easier key, and you wish the composer had written it in that key. And then other times you can find some super difficult keys to play things in, and you come back to the solo and you think, oh, it's so easy, you know, that kind of thing. So anyway, that's a little bit what we're after here. Anyway, I thought your playing of this was really fabulous. I liked what you did here in measure 102. Let's just make sure we do that really tight in the rhythm. Let's not distract from the rhythm there. Let's just try that one thing. Maybe, can you maybe from here run up to it? There's not one in the music. We probably shouldn't add one. But I love the way you do that. I think that continue to develop your sound with the solo and the other things in the book to, you know, just continue to get to know the piece, increase your perspective on the whole piece altogether. Believe me, somehow you play the solo better if you know the other passages in the piece better. And I don't know how that is, but I can tell you that it's a real thing. But that's really fantastic, the way you play that. Make sure you don't come up here. We always have to stay down on that one. So that one is down on purpose by the composer. And then that prepares you for the little crescendo that's coming up. That could be a little bit more of a feature in the way that you're playing. I want to move on, but I do want to hear that. Maybe just if you would right here, please. Beautiful. Again, good risk. Good risk. You can do better. One more time. There you're really playing the piece. I think it's quite intentional on the part of Brahms that he left the nuance out of that group. And I think it's as a way of sort of defining the construction of the phrase as a three-part group, and then you go from there. And I think it's very intelligently done. Beautiful. Okay, good. And now the Leonore.